I haven't thrown a single one.
I've got them all.
I have a confession to make. After 20 years, I've never thrown away a power note.
No.
There
Yeah,
you go.
no.
Uh-huh.
There you go.
When
Yeah.
I need an affirmation, or when I think nothing I've written makes a bit of difference in the world, I'll read those power notes, and they give me a sense that it meant something to that one, to that person, to that
Well,
person.
just to throw this in, one of the stories that I've just read to my group that I had written, when I got the little power notes, I was stunned. Their little notes were alike. I couldn't believe it. I did bring that story to, but I didn't bring their power notes, of course. But what I'm saying is that they're amazing. They are. They're just amazing. Yeah, and it's clever to have power notes.
I think most of us, as Karen said, there's so many things in the world that pull us away from other people. And with more technology, I can remember hearing this many years ago. A futurist by the name of Nesbitt said, high tech, high touch, that the more technology that enters the world, the more we will need the human touch. And the human touch of connecting with one another. And Karen, you have a vision for how this can happen through technology, that we can find a way to create
Absolutely.
community and to touch one another's lives. And I think most of us are pretty starved for feedback. We don't get feedback on the impact that we have on other people. It just doesn't happen naturally. And when we can write and get that feedback on the impact that we've had on someone else through the words we've used or the story we've told, what happens for me is that it's like being touched. And so even though we're moving into a world that's high tech, the need for touch, the need for the human connection, I think is probably even greater
Yes.
than when we were hanging out in the neighborhood and we were seeing people face to face and talking and stopping and hanging out, that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
You are so right. You know what makes me sad? I don't get a letter anymore.
Yes.
You know, I love to get a letter, and I shouldn't say I don't get it anymore. I do get letters, but not to the extent that it used to be. I mean, email, and I haven't even learned how to use my computer because I don't want email.
Well, I can assure you that I use email all the time with my very dearest friends, and it's as intimate as a letter. When I see their name come up in my inbox, I'm thinking, oh, Kathy, I haven't heard from her for a while. And we have a wonderful visit back and forth, you know?
Well, good for you.
It can work, it can work. I don't have a cell phone yet, so
Oh, well, I don't have a cell phone.
No.
Well, I shouldn't say that. My son bought me a cell phone for my safety,
yes.
but I never use it.
Yeah, and I haven't.
Did they show you how to work it? Or you just have it for yourself? I got it. I'm okay. My
It's
girlfriend doesn't know how to
interesting.
turn hers on.
No.
I have one in the car for emergencies.
Yes.
And even with all the technology, I read this morning that there are over 3 billion pencils that are manufactured in the United States alone. And that still, even with all our technology, a pencil is one of the preferred ways of communicating.
Oh, wow.
That we
Yeah.
can write things down, we can erase them, we can move them
I
around.
write in pencil.
And we're very seldom more than about 10 feet away from a pencil. And so I found that
I like that.
that first technology of our hand and our pencil and
Fascinating. I
and
like that.
writing on a piece of paper, that still hasn't gone out of fashion.
I started out teaching in primary school, so teaching children to use a pencil for the first time. I have pencils that are my favorite pencils, but when I hold them, they feel right.
Yes.
You can pick up a pencil that doesn't feel right.
And then you have to put it back and
You have
take
to put it
another
back
one.
and find the one that's
Absolutely. Yeah.
right.
I got different kinds of pencils. I've got more pencils. I bet you I've got 30, 40 pencils, and I switch off. And if I find one I like, I go back and I buy packages of them.
And I'm that way with gel pens. That's why we've
Oh.
got these today.
Mhm.
I write lying down.
Oh.
90% of what I write lying
Now
down.
that's curious.
And I was very happy to learn that that was also one of my favorite authors' way of doing it, and that is Mark Twain.
Oh, did he?
He wrote lying down too. So I need a pen that a ballpoint pen won't do it. The ink stops too soon.
Yeah.
But a gel pen works for me, and that's why I've put
You know
gel
what
pens
makes me sad is handwriting of the children these days. You can't read.
I was going to say that. You can't read it because they don't write
No,
and they don't spell.
no.
I got a letter from my cousin's daughter, and I had to phone her and say, could you tell me what this means? Because I couldn't understand one word of it.
Wow.
Everything was like short. And I said, how do you express yourself? And when I used to hire, if someone couldn't write and their spelling was wrong or they had terrible writing, it went in the garbage. I didn't even look at it. Because if you can't take the time to fill out an application precisely and write nicely, then you're not organized. You're not going to, like, it says a lot about your writing. And I remember growing up, they said, never type a letter. It's impersonal. Always write a letter.
And I'm told that if you've had an interview and you write a handwritten note of thanks, that often moves your application to the top, because as Ruth said, we get so few handwritten correspondence today, and as someone takes the time to write a personal thank you note in their own pen and put a stamp on it and put it in the mail, that still has high value.
Isn't that fascinating? I never thought about that, but that is so, yeah.
And I think of our stories as thank you notes to the people who've gone before us and the people who will come after us. We
And the
write a
lessons.
story, we're saying thank you that you're interested. Thank you that you might be wanting to know about my life. Thank you for what you contributed to my life. And so I think when we're writing, we're doing that very
It's almost like
intimate act.
keeping a gratitude journal, but we don't realize that's what we're doing. Is that's what basically what you're saying. It's like thanking people for the lessons we learned and different things as we write our stories. We honor them.
Well, one question that I ask all the facilitators in training, and I'll just toss it out into the center of our circle today, is with this whole business of transformative writing, it's different than the writing that might be in a course on grammar or on structure or character development or some of the things that would be typical in what's called creative writing, is what does love have to do with it? So I'm just going to toss that question in. With transformative writing, what does love have to do with what we're doing?
Well, my first thought would be that I love it. I mean, I love to write. How would I know that I love to write if I hadn't ever come into this situation? I mean, this situation here, being where I am, and looking back to 2005, my life stems from that. From then on, my life stems from that. I love remembering that I mustn't forget this experience because I'm going to be able to write it down. Like, that's where the word love comes in. You love your work. I love my writing. I love listening to each one of you because you're in the same boat that I'm in right now. And I wonder about you sitting and listening to us, and whether this is a new experience or have you done this before?
Well, I've been taking Joanne's classes for the past year, so I've had a number of, I guess, 4 different classes, or I don't know, 5 maybe. So I've been experiencing something very similar to yourselves.